Hi guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be more of a serious video. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about something that is taboo, that is not necessarily socially accepted. There's a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings about this, and so that's essentially why I'm doing this video, to raise awareness, to get the conversation going, and to end the stigma around HIV and AIDS. So personally, whenever I'm going through something or I'm curious about something, I like to look it up on YouTube, but I couldn't really find anything around this topic that's recent or that's more personal, someone telling their story. So that's why I decided to put my video out there, because I want people to know that they're not alone, and if my story can help just one person, it will truly make my day. So before I get into my story, I want to educate y'all, because I think that you guys should have at least some basic knowledge around this so you can properly understand my story, and so that you guys can be more educated overall on this topic. Okay, so first things first, a lot of people confuse the terms HIV and AIDS. They are not the same thing. They're not the same. So HIV is the abbreviation for human immunodeficiency virus. It is a virus which attacks a specific type of immune system cell in the body, known as CD4 cells or T cells. On the other hand, AIDS is the abbreviation for acquired immune deficiency syndrome. So it's basically a medical condition that appears in advanced stages of HIV infection. So more specifically, it's when someone's CD4 cell count is below 200. So what you have to take away from this is that one is a virus and one is a condition. So you cannot catch a condition. When someone says oh, I'm gonna catch AIDS, you can't. You can only catch HIV or give HIV. So that's the first thing. The second thing is U equals U. It's so critical for people who have HIV and for people who don't to know this, because essentially what U equals U means is undetectable equals untransmittable. So undetectable means when you get a blood test at the hospital or whatever, they cannot detect the virus in your blood. So the virus is so low that it's undetectable. And untransmittable, well, basically you can't transmit it. So the only way that you can be undetectable is if you are consistently on antiretrovirals, which is medication that suppresses the virus and just keeps the virus suppressed, basically so you can live, because if you don't have anything suppressing the virus is going to replicate so much, and you're going to eventually have less than 200 CD4 cells, which is AIDS, and it comes with so many complications. So it's important to know that it's not a cure. There's no publicly available cure for people yet, but I really hope that there is. Since I was a little girl, I've always wished that there was a cure, at least during my lifetime, so I could live, that fantastic moment of oh my gosh, I finally got rid of this thing. But at least there is U equals U. U equals U is critically important because it improves the lives of people living with HIV so much. They're able to, have intimacy and relationships without having to worry about passing it on. And same thing for people that don't have HIV. They don't have to worry if their partner does have it. So yeah, it's really a game changer. And I think that not a lot of people know about this, and people should, because you can still have, relationships and intimacy and U equals U really reinforces that. The third thing that you guys should know is the methods of transmission. So how can you get it? How is it transmitted? So it's only transmitted through certain bodily fluids, such as blood, semen, or breast milk. So for example, it can be transmitted through injectables like needles, or sex, or mother to child transmission. But it's important to know that the only way you can get it is if, you know, someone's bodily fluids come into your body. So, you know, either are injected into your body or, you know. So it's really important to know that you can't get it from kissing someone, from sharing drinks or food, or just talking close to someone. It's not like a flu. It really has to enter your body. So there should not be any more myths or stereotypes around this. Okay, so I think we're ready to start my story. I have to, like, you know, dig into my past. Didn't want to go there, but I have to for the purpose of this video. So, okay, let's start with the present right now. We'll go to the past and then we'll go back to the present. So, hi, my name is Amanda. I was born in 1999 and I was born with HIV. HIV is not a death sentence anymore thanks to antiretrovirals and modern day medicine. I'm so grateful that I have access to these medications because not everyone still today has access. There's some countries that, you know, don't have enough medication or whatnot. So I'm very grateful for that. And so I'm going to show you guys what my medication is. So this is my medication. It's called Biktarvy, as you can see on the bottle. There's 30 tablets, so I have to get a new bottle every month at the drugstore. I actually recently just started on these. I started in January of 2020. So before that I was on Genvoya, which is this bottle right here. I'm just gonna show you guys the difference in the pills, so like what they look like. So this is Biktarvy. It's a small like pink pill and I have to take it once per day. Any time of the day that I chose, I have to take it at the same time every day. And it was the same thing for Genvoya. So Genvoya is just a little bit bigger and it's green. So this is what Genvoya looks like. And yeah, I had 0 side effects with Genvoya, and also I'm fine with Biktarvy. I don't have any side effects. So yeah, I can pretty much live like an almost normal life. I mean, I might get a cold a little more often, you know, than the average person, since my immune system is more compromised, but overall I'm healthy because I'm consistently on these medications. Now I'm going to get into my past. So let's start with how I found out. So obviously, like I said, I was born with it, so I don't really know like when I found out. I was a child. I was like pretty young. The thing is, like, I would have to go to the doctors every, I guess, like 3 to 4 months. So I would know, like, as a child, like, we always have to go to the doctor regularly, and I would have to take blood, and I would hate that. Yeah, I just remember, like, my mom would talk to the doctor, and the doctor would just, you know, tell her how is my health, and how I'm doing and if the virus is controlled and whatnot, but I didn't really know what was going on. I just thought, like, here we go again, like, I'm at the doctor's office. But I believe when I was about like 7, I think my mom like told me, so you have this virus and you know this is what it does and blah blah blah. But it wasn't like a surprise, it was just like, okay, it's a confirmation, like, oh, this is why we're going to the hospital all the time. The thing is, I never really had a before and after. I was just born and I was like, okay, this is my life now. Like, I never really knew like a life without it. So for me, it was normal, but in the same time, I kind of knew it wasn't normal because I wasn't like hearing the other kids at school talking about going to the doctors or whatever. I kind of knew like the other kids weren't going to the doctors every 3 months like I was. I was also told like not to mention it at school, and I was fine with it because I knew like it was for the best. And yeah, my family like didn't want to tell, you know, anyone at school and whatnot, just to kind of keep the peace and just so we can avoid, you know, the negativity that comes with, you know, coming out about something like this. And being a child, you know, in school you already get bullied like just for being different. In elementary, I would get picked on just for the color of my skin, just because I was a mixed kid and the majority of the school was white. There wasn't a lot of diversity, so just because I was different, I was getting picked on. So I can't even imagine, you know, if the kids knew that I had this virus, I would most likely be shunned and alienated from the other kids, and my family just didn't want that for me. And so that's why they said, like, you know, don't mention it, and they didn't mention it to the school either because, you know, even the adults can be discriminating towards a child. You'd be surprised. I was on medication when I was born until about the age of 4, and then the doctors decided not to put me on any medication from the ages of 4 to about 14, so I think that was about like 10 years. And basically the doctor said that he kind of just wanted to give my body a break from the medications because they were, you know, pretty harsh on the body, harsh on the liver, the kidneys, and, you know, as a child, it's, you know, it's strong medications. And so basically my body was able to sustain itself during those 10 years. But, you know, then at the age of 14, I had to restart because my CD4 levels were, you know, going down and down. I wasn't always on medication because of the doctor's decision, etc. I remember though, in elementary, I came really close to telling someone. There was this girl that told me something about her at recess one time, and I was like, oh, like, you told me something about you, maybe I should tell you something about me. And I remember I was about to tell her, and then I caught myself. I was like, girl, what are you doing? Are you trying to ruin your life in 1 second? I caught myself at the last minute, and I was so thankful that I didn't say it because it's really sad. Like, I hate that I had to, you know, hide that from people. I hate that, like, I couldn't just, you know, be myself and be accepted for, you know, who I am and every part of me. But that wasn't the case. So I kind of just accepted that those were the sacrifices I had to make, you know, as a 10-year-old or whatever, in order to, you know, keep the negativity away. So, you know, I kind of just accepted that. I didn't really want to tell anyone anyways, because deep down, like, I kind of knew it wasn't a normal thing in society, but I didn't, obviously at that age, like, I didn't understand that there was stigma and discrimination around something like this. I just knew that I wasn't normal, and as a kid I feel like I tried to be normal like my whole life, but there's just so many things that, you know, weren't normal about me. Like, it was just one of my things out of all of my abnormalities, and yeah, I kind of feel sad for her, you know. I'm so happy that at least today I realized that that's just not the move. Like, really, I don't know why I wanted that all these years, and now I'm proud to be who I am, but I'm gonna keep that for later. Okay, so in high school, once again, I never told anyone. You know, I had quite a few friends, but you know, high school is full of drama, and I switched friends and blah blah blah, and it was just not something that I wanted to tell people, because unfortunately in high school people are cruel and they will use things against you for sure. I wasn't about that drama, so I just kept it to myself. When I was about in 8th grade, I think I was like 14, I had to restart medication, like I said before. So they put me on this medication and I was so sick. I would have to take it in the morning, and I was throwing up, I was nauseous, like pretty much all day. And on top of that, I had to go to school. So at school, I would feel sick, and you know, I'd have to tell the teacher, like, I have to go to the bathroom, like, I don't feel good. They probably thought I had gastro. They didn't really know what was up because we didn't tell them. But you know, they would send me home, and I would have to kind of deal with that. And honestly, I didn't even want to go to school when I was sick, because honestly, like, your health is more important than anything. When you don't have your health, nothing else matters. Like, you just want to feel good, you just want to be healthy. I was really sick, and so my mom convinced the doctors to put me on the medication that she was on at the time, and they didn't want to because it wasn't like approved for children. And so it took a while before they finally said, okay, we'll let her try, we'll see how it goes. And I went on that medication. It was Isentress and Truvada, and I was fine. I had no side effects whatsoever, and I'm like, why couldn't you guys just put me on this like in the beginning? But yeah, so at least I didn't have side effects on those pills, but I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of trouble swallowing pills, and to be honest, I still have trouble today. I don't know why. It's just, I've always had trouble swallowing pills. I guess it's maybe like a fear of choking or something, but yeah, I would struggle a lot like in high school trying to swallow my pills. But one thing about me though is that I would always take them. Like, I wouldn't skip a dose, and I think that's what's really important, because you know, as a kid sometimes you don't think things are as important as they really are. And so I'm happy that I wasn't a dumb bitch about that. That was high school, and yes, if you were wondering, I never dated anyone in high school, so I didn't, you know, have to tell anyone. I kind of had the same type of mentality, you know, throughout elementary and high school, and basically I just wanted to keep my status or my diagnosis a secret my whole life, because I was like, you know, there's no drama, I look like I'm normal, no one could tell, I just have to, you know, hide it, like, it's not a big deal. Hi guys, it's Amanda from editing. I just want to clarify real quick. What I mean by this is that I basically thought I was going to be single my whole life, and I was okay with that. Being the independent woman that I am, I just wanted to have my house and my 2 Siberian Huskies, and that was my dream. And it still is today, but I got a boyfriend, and that basically changed everything from there. So, back to kind of the present. Last year, my whole perspective just totally changed. I had a realization that I didn't want to live like this anymore. I didn't want to keep isolating myself and pretending like everything was okay when it's not. I just didn't want to keep hiding these things that are inevitably a part of me. I just wanted to be myself. And so let me tell you what happened. I was in the car with my boyfriend and his friend last year, and the subject came up. And, you know, basically like they were talking about people in college sleeping around, and then the subject came up and they were just like saying things about it, but that wasn't necessarily bad, but just like certain things that weren't like necessarily true. And I guess it's just things that like they heard and like stereotypes or whatever. And like I understand, you know, if you don't know much on something, then most likely all you know is stereotypes or things that people just, you know, throw around. So I realized that I need to tell my boyfriend, and I wanted to tell him. I wanted him to, you know, truly know this part of me and to be educated on this. Like I needed to be with someone that's educated on this and that truly, you know, knows everything about me. And I made the decision not to tell him in the beginning, and I know that I'm probably gonna get hate on this, but just wait. So I wanted to make sure that our relationship was serious, and I wanted to make sure that, you know, we truly love each other, and, you know, that this is someone that I can trust, because this is not something that, you know, you just want to tell to, you know, some fling. You want someone who can keep your secret and who can, you know who you are before you tell them, because a lot of the times if you tell someone on the spot, they're gonna start seeing you for the virus, and I didn't want that. I wanted him to get to know me first and, you know, to build some connection so that I know that this is serious and I can trust him with something like this. On that night, we got back to his house and I was just so upset. I had a breakdown on his bed and he was asking me what was wrong, and I lied. I said, oh, I'm stressed out because of school, but that wasn't really the reason. I knew that I had to tell him, and I knew that I wanted to tell him, but I knew that it was gonna be one of the hardest things that I would ever have to do, because I've never came out to anyone before in my life. Like, this would be the first person. So I had no experience. I had no idea how to do it. And, you know, I just assumed the worst and I wasn't ready to lose him. Basically, I planned out a date that I would tell him. And, you know, the date came around and I prepared this whole letter. I wrote this whole letter for him, and I was planning on basically bringing him to a park and reading the letter, blah blah blah. I can do a video on how I came out specifically, but I'm just gonna let you guys know in this video, you know, how it turned out. So yeah, I wasn't able to, you know, read the letter because I realized it was way too hard, and so I had to tell him in my own words. It was the only way, and let me tell you, it wasn't easy. I mentally prepared and everything, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna tell him, like, it's whatever. But, you know, it's a really hard thing to do, to come out to someone. and I was crying and everything, and I'm like, okay, enough is enough. I told him, and his reaction was the sweetest thing ever. Like, it actually shocked me. I was surprised. I didn't expect to have this type of reaction. When I told him, he actually started crying, and he thought that I was gonna be sick, and you know, I didn't have much time left to live, because you know, he wasn't educated on this. All he knew is like, oh, if you catch AIDS, you're gonna die. But that's not the case. So he was crying, and he was like, are you gonna be okay? Like, and everything. And I told him, like, I educated him on the spot. I told him everything, and then he realized, like, so this isn't really a big thing. Like, you just have to take medication and you'll be fine, right? And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like, and there's no way you can get it because I'm undetectable. My boyfriend took it really well, and I'm so grateful for that, because I know, you know, there are a lot of people out there that don't necessarily react well. Sometimes, you know, out of fear, out of ignorance. Just so you know, he wasn't mad that I didn't tell him on the first date. You know, he understood that, you know, this wasn't something that is easy to tell to someone, and you definitely don't want to just tell a stranger. I knew for a fact that I wasn't putting him at any risk because I've been undetectable, and on top of that, I was following the laws and everything. I didn't do anything to put him in any harm, so don't come at me. You know, I know a lot of people might have opinions about this, but frankly, I don't care, because my boyfriend wasn't mad, and you know, that's all that matters. He understood my reasoning behind this. Obviously, I recommend telling someone, like, as soon as possible, and you know, as soon as you can. So this was my first boyfriend, and still is, and also the first person that I've ever told. Honestly, it couldn't have gone better, but I know that it's still a hard thing to do, and not everyone will react like my boyfriend did. And so that's why I'm, you know, doing this video. I want to get rid of the stigma so that it can be easier for people to come out. It doesn't have to be so hard and, you know, emotionally painful. Like, why is it that certain diagnoses get compassion, empathy, and support, but we get alienated, discriminated, and shamed? Like, we want love and support too. I don't get it. I never got it. Let me tell you guys, I feel so self-liberated. You know, by pushing this away, I felt like I could never truly be myself. As much as I believe that it does not define you, it is still a part of you. And I think it's wrong that, you know, I've been kind of hiding this and pushing this part of me aside my whole life. I feel like now I can truly, unapologetically be myself. And that's honestly all I've ever wanted, is just to be myself. And, you know, as an Aquarius, I don't care about fitting in anymore. I don't want to fit in. I want to be unique. So yeah, owning up to this and, you know, coming to terms with this last year, it's life-changing. And I just want to let people know, like, you don't have to come out to the world to come to terms with your diagnosis. That's not why I'm doing this, but it's definitely, you know, helping me and helping others in the same time. I guess why I waited to come out to my boyfriend is because of the stigma out there. And that's why I want to educate people and work towards ending that stigma, so that it doesn't have to be so difficult for other people to come out, and people don't have to feel so scared like I was. And so after coming out to him, I realized that I kind of wanted to come out to the whole world. I know that sounds crazy, but I wanted to show others that they're not alone and you can live an amazing life even though you're HIV positive. I just feel like I want to educate people more on it so people aren't so judgmental about this. HIV is not what it used to be and the world should know. It's 2020, guys. There shouldn't be any more shame or misconceptions around this. Let's all work together to normalize it. So go test, talk about it, don't be scared, but I do want you to know that if you do, end up testing positive, your life is not over. Look at me, I'm living my best life. So guys, please go educate yourselves, go educate other people on this, because this isn't only about ending the stigma. By educating people, you're ending the stigma, which will in turn make more people go test and reduce further HIV infection. The point of this whole video is basically to provide a place for all experiences to come together. Feel free to share your thoughts, your story if you're bold, any questions you might have. If you need someone to talk to or if you want to share your story with me, I would love to hear it. You can DM me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, it's @_mandydel. And yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for listening and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.